put that over to the side. Okay, I'll open up the show. And Karen, you'll be first. If Lucia shows up, she'll be second. If not, Laura, I'll go ahead and start with you, and I'll work with Lucia behind the scenes. What I will do, like Dawn right now, is the spotlight. And I will, I'm going to stop your video just to show you, use Don as an example there. And I'm going to mute his mic there. And that way, it just be your picture. You'll see it muted and all that. And I've unmuted Don now. But anyway, whoever is speaking, their video will be on. And right now you see me like at the spotlight. Everyone else will be at the top with their video off and their mic muted. Now, when I bring you on, I will say something like, the stage is yours. Then wait till I do this. I'm going to stop my video first. Then I will mute my mic. And that's when you start speaking, because that way we'll be able to slice that part of the presentation, take that part of the presentation front and back. We'll do the same thing at the very rear. You will say, thank you very much. Glad to be here. You'll pause. That'll give me a chance to cut my video on and my mic and say thank you and that sort of thing. And I will actually say, share with us, you know, your website and your email address, how people can get in touch with you, and so on and so forth. And that's basically the way we work it. And also in the chat box, does everyone see their chat box? Okay. In the chat box, when you're speaking, I will just, since Karen's going to be first, I'll just say, Karen, not speak out loud, but I'll type it. I'll give you a sign there. It says 3 minutes, and then 2 minutes, and then 1 minute. That's the way we do it on a radio show. That way you'll know it's time to wrap up your talk. And if you do start going over, if I only had to do it once, you'll see my video go from this. You'll see me cut it right on, and I'll be up in this area here.
That's the virtual cane.
Yeah.
That's the virtual cane means.
Because we gotta keep our time right and allow everyone to be able to speak. And,
18 minutes max.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to go 18 minutes if your talk is 15, if it's 10, whatever. But that the 3 minutes will be means you're at 15 of the 18.
Mm-hmm.
So are we doing like interview style, or are we just talking?
You're just sharing your information from the heart.
Okay.
Just like you're having a one-on-one conversation with some people, you know, they're just listening to you deliver your message. This is a virtual stage.
Okay.
Just like a physical stage, except this is virtual.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go lurk.
Okay.
And kill it, crush it, have fun, high energy. People need you. People want you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I say bye.
You say bye. You say goodbye, and I say hello.
Tomato, tomato.
Oh, yeah. When I open the show, I'll also do a little bit about speakerspathway.com, take people there, give them a quick snapshot. You will see where your video is going to be posted there, your presentation individually, and that sort of thing. So that'd be a nicety to know. And we're about 2 minutes from going live, so we get ready to go live at 10:59. I'll cut the cameras and mics off and all those good things, and I'll take it from there. Then Karen, I'll bring you on first. Laura, let me bring you on second. And if Licia shows up, she'll be on. If not, we're just going to go with the two. I'm like Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
It really is. If you're healthy.
Are we introducing ourselves?
Or no, I would do the introduction for you.
Okay,
I would
so
say,
you're reading our little bios and everything?
What I'm going to say, I'll say Laura Early, Goldstein. She's with us today. Let me cut her camera on. And Laura, you're going to be talking to us about using the quiet and stillness to discuss your sense of purpose. Wow, that's amazing. I can't wait to hear more. Let me mute my mic and cut my video off, and the stage is yours. Then you take it and go from there. Okay. Let me go ahead and turn the cameras off here. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of Messages of Inspiration, Hope, and Support. I'm Jim Grant. Thank you so much for joining us today. We got 3 wonderful speakers for you. This inspiration of hope and support, it is brought to you by speakerspathway.com. Is it okay if I share you a little bit about speakerspathway.com and show you what we do? We are a bunch of speakers, and let me get over here. Here we are. Here's our homepage, speakerspathway.com. And you can see that we have a lot of training up here, TEDx training. We have complimentary gifts. We have, this is some of our speakers that we have. We'll be able to see more of them. And Dandy Don also has a free course of how to grow your business. And if you click on that TEDx tab there, you will see here where Don will share with you the 5 simple steps of a kick butt TED Talk and on how to grow your business. He has a free course there. We have complimentary gifts from each of our executive training directors. We have 6 executive training directors, and all of them have individual gifts and the messages of inspiration, hope, and support. When you click on that button there from the main page, we have all of the individual speakers listed here. Most of them, we're still adding them every day. And we've got several pages here, as you can see. You click on the next page. And if you're interested in one of our speakers, just click on that. You'll be able to listen to their individual presentation. And here is something about each individual speaker. That's the write-up on them. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And our very first speaker today is Dr. Karen Perkins. She's a great friend of mine and Don's. We've known her for a long time. She's a wonderful lady. Let me cut on her video and unmute her, and let me bring her to the spotlight here.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing there?
I am phenomenal. How are you doing today?
Well, as soon as I find the right button, I'm going to be okay here. Oh my
That's
goodness,
the
there
way it
you
is for
are.
all of us.
Yeah, I mean to tell you, it's a wonderful thing to have someone like a producer when you're doing the radio show do all this techie stuff behind you. But today,
Yeah.
Karen, you're going to be talking to people about how thoughts become things and how to change your thoughts to make positive change today and in the future. That's a tremendous subject. Let me mute my video and cut off my mic, and the stage is yours.
Well, Jim, I am so excited, and many of our audience know that I have the movie coming out, How Thoughts Become Things, and we've got a lot of the same cast members that were in The Secret with the Law of Attraction. And, you know, where that gives you the what and why, how thoughts become things is the action. What do you do for the actions? And I cannot tell you the miracles I have seen in all kinds of situations with people's thoughts. And just a fun story real quick. I had 8 speaking engagements 2 weeks ago, with live audiences. And so I was driving from Salt Lake to Phoenix where the engagements were, took my grandson down with me, and got to that first spot of no man's land where there's nobody anywhere near, and my transmission blew up. Well, now, that was pretty much going to ruin the whole week because I didn't know if I was going to get there to speak. And there was a time where my transmission blowing up would have really not been a pleasant experience. And it's still not, but it's not a big deal. And I called AAA, who I love and adore, and I've never had issues with them, but this one time, apparently the person on staff was having a hardship of their own and had the opportunity to take it out on me. And long story, not as long, I ended up in a little tiny town at a Napa Autos part, and I could leave my car and abandon it in a lot that said they would tow it, or I could pay $480 for my free tow and get to an auto shop. What else could go wrong? And then I went to Mexico during that time, and they closed the borders. And then I finally got my car fixed for like $5,000. And then not only did my car not really get fixed, actually my car really did, but not only did I pay $5,000, 2 days later, they're locking down the city so we come home early, and MapQuest kept re-guiding us through no man's land. It's like, no, I go through Vegas so I know their people. Well, I'm telling you all this because it gets funnier. So I just paid $5,000, was out of a car for 2 weeks, didn't get to do any of my speaking engagements because of the house arrest. And I did get out of Mexico, but that was another story. Anyway, we're going home, get rerouted, and finally gave up and went the bad route, or the other route, the positive route. And about 1 a.m, we saw some does and fawns. They were crossing the road. And so I slowed way down. Nobody wants to hit a deer. I mean, they're just so cute. So my grandson and I are going, look how cute they are. And they're walking off. When all of a sudden, great big old Grandpa Buck decided to have a dance with my car, and it is now totaled. Yeah, the one that I just replaced everything in for $5,000. It is 1:30 in the morning. The nearest town is 50 miles away, and I think all 6 people from that town were probably in bed asleep. So what else could go wrong? I mean, what else could go wrong? Now I realize those things are not nearly as bad as what some people are going through. I'm not making money. I'm almost got trapped in a foreign country. My transmission blew up. I got it paid money when I didn't get to do the work. So, I mean, oh my gosh. And then my car just, the front end was no more. You know what? It really wasn't that bad. And it wasn't that bad because I knew I had to change the way I looked at things. I had to change my thoughts. So I chose, when my transmission blew, to say, cool. Transmission blew, oh well. I called and I got the tow truck. Tow driver, absolutely delightful. They took me to the wrong location. Okay, I will admit I was a little ticked at that point, but I got over it. Tow truck driver was awesome. Took me to another location. Should have charged me more than he did, but he did. That's a miracle that there was actually somebody who would take us. The next miracle is I did get to speak at one event that next morning. And who did I meet at that event but a guy from Friendly Auto? Yeah, there's a plug because everybody should tell you when somebody does great work. And I met Eric from Friendly Auto. And he just made me feel so loved and so at home and so comfortable. I thought, I got to tow my car in there. So I got my car towed another hour and a half. And with that hour and a half, what happens? I should have paid for that towing, but didn't. I just got some of my towing money back. Yay, that's a miracle. So I get the towing money back. I get it over to Friendly. And do you know, Steve, the owner of that place, not only went through the car, anybody ever dealt with mechanics that you don't know, and you're a woman especially, they're ripping you off. Well, no, they're not. But thoughts say, oh, they're ripping me off. I knew they weren't. But I not only knew they weren't because I knew they weren't, I knew they weren't because Steve went through and took photos of everything he thought needed fixed and said how long he thought it would last if I didn't fix it now. And some of them were a while. And he said, fix it, don't fix it. If you decide you want to sell it, I'll help you. And I decided, well, I'm going to go look for a car because at this moment, I don't want to put out $5,000 if I don't have to at one time in cash. And he said, hey, let me call my buddy. He'll take you car shopping. He'll make sure you don't get taken advantage of, that you get the best deal. They'll give you the best money for your car. And I'm like, okay, what's that going to cost? And he said, oh, no, this guy trains all the sales guys. It'll be good for him to go see what they're doing. He'll go with you for free. Miracle. Some stranger, another stranger helping me. Miracles. And then he called me like 10 minutes later. And he said, are you ready to go shopping? And I'm like, this afternoon. And then Steve from the auto shop calls back. He says, you know, I've been thinking about what cars you're looking at. And really, we can fix this one for less than that. And then you'll have this car for like another 200,000 miles. And you know it's a good car. And I went, yeah, but I can get a loan from those guys. Right now, I'm not sure what's going to happen with things. Okay, the fear, but not really. I was just making a decision. I'm not sure what's going to happen. And he went, oh, if you want a loan, I'll figure that out. Don't worry about it. You're a mechanic. You don't do loans. We'll figure it out. Well, he figures it out. He fixes my car. It takes a lot longer than normal because people are quarantined. They're not getting parts out as quickly. But he fixes the car. Absolutely delightful. Sends me pictures all along the way. And here's another fun miracle. I went and got my car Thursday afternoon, and he said, how are you on toilet paper? Well, I only had 2 rolls when I got back to Salt Lake because every time I'd been able to go shopping for it, there wasn't any. And I went, well, I have 2 rolls. And he said, tell you what, I bought extra. Let me give you some. And he brought me out 2 great big packs of toilet paper. I know you may not see that as a miracle, but for somebody who didn't have any, that was a miracle. Well, we left Saturday. So I have it Thursday night, Saturday morning, we leave. It keeps routing me. My MapQuest has never changed and rerouted me unless I just made one small turn. I'm telling you, it was going north when I was trying to go, west. So how can that be a miracle? Well, because we got within about an hour of the Grand Canyon, and my grandson had never seen the Grand Canyon. So we took that time, went up, and at dusk, he got to see the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. That's a miracle. And then I set the MapQuest to take me past West Grand Canyon, over the Hoover Dam area, into Henderson, and back on the route I was going. And it's now dark, and I don't realize I'm not going that direction until I see that we're at East Grand Canyon, heading toward north. And then they get me on whatever road it is, 89A. It is not an interstate if they say it is. It is not a U.S. service road if they say it is. And so we're taking that. We pass 2 or 3 cars in a couple of hours. And we hit the deer. What's the miracle there? Well, there are several that happen after that. The first miracle is there was not phone service a half a mile before us or a half a mile after us. We know because we tried to find it there. But guess what? Right where we are or were, there was phone service. That is a miracle. Trust me, that was an area in life you didn't want to be out in the middle of the dark where it was cold and pitch black. And miracle, I was able to call AAA, which was a great experience, by the way. So I called AAA. I have phone service. 2.5 hours later, yes, it took that long. They came. In the 2.5 hours, we saw 4 cars. But my grandson and I got to have some fun and to play and look at the bright side of the situation and some of the cool things we're having the opportunity to do. They tow us, and he'll take us 100 miles. I paid an extra money for the extra 10 miles. And now picture this. He would not go 110 miles and 10 feet to the gas station. So he dropped us in a La Quinta parking lot, hotel parking lot. And I'm thinking, really? You won't even go across the street, and it's 5:30 in the morning now. It's freaking cold. But wow, how awesome. We are in a La Quinta parking lot. We're going to have to walk a few feet to get inside the hotel where it's warm. So we got in there. The hotel gave us 2 nights for the night 1, and we were able to stay until my son came and picked us up. They totaled the car because it was going to cost $217 more to fix it than it was worth. You know what? That's awesome. Because as they totaled the car, all of these programs came out where you can get 0 interest, 4 months deferred, long-term loans. I got myself a new Infiniti. Yay! And it's not costing me an arm and a leg or a tail or a head or an ear or anything else. So I have more miracles than I had things that people would have called disasters. I had a great tow truck driver. I had met a new friend that I could trust. I met another new friend that I could trust. I got not only out of Mexico, but I had to go back in and get out again. People before us and after us were getting all kinds of grief. We went just right through. And my car got back, was perfect. They actually, when they totaled my car, even though they didn't take into account all I'd put into it to fix it, they put into account of what they put into it when they totaled it and gave me a payout on it, which helped me with not only what I paid for getting it repaired, but to go toward the down payment. Better yet, I got all that extra time one-on-one with my grandson. More miracles than not. Now, I'm sharing all those miracles with you and this story that was too long and kind of, but the fact is, and I want you to know this, had I looked at it with the thought of, oh my gosh, what else can go wrong? I would not have seen all those miracles and I would be panicked. I would be hysterical. Today, a week so later, I would be, oh my gosh, what else is going to go wrong? What else is going wrong? Where I'm like, you have challenges. I had a fun adventure over and over again. Wouldn't want to repeat them, but I learned a lot from them, met a lot of great people, got a lot of great help. You look for those miracles, you are going to find those miracles because they're happening all around us. If you look for what else is going to go wrong and how is it going to damage me, you're going to find more of what's going wrong and what's going to damage you. I'm going to tell you, the best thing you can do right now is to open up your heart to serving others. Take time. When you get really scared, I know people have lost their jobs. I know they were losing loved ones. I know that's happening, and I don't want to downplay any of that with my silly story about cars. But when you're getting most concerned and frightened, sit down and write a letter to somebody you love that you haven't maybe talked to for a while, or maybe somebody you talk to all the time. But physically handwrite a letter and list out things you remember about them over the years that you love. One, it will take you back to a place of good and times that we're happy. Two, it gives you something to do that you know is going to benefit. Three, it gives somebody the opportunity to get physical mail, and then they get to read it and remember all the happiness that they brought to others and good times themselves. And now it's gone full circle. You've helped yourself and you've helped other people. I encourage you, my challenge is for you to write at least 10 love letters to friends and family this week. And I promise you, if you change your thoughts to what is good in life, what you remember that was great, and what you look forward to doing, it won't make the bad things go away necessarily, but will put them in a position where you'll know them and you'll be able to appreciate them. And it will put you in a place where you'll be open to seeing all the good. And when you can see the good, you gravitate toward it and it gravitates towards you, and you don't dismiss it and miss it. Often the good things don't happen because we're so focused on the bad that we miss the good and we dismiss the good. And I don't want that to happen for you. So remember, even when life's rough, good things happen. And life is not about weathering the storm. Life is about learning how to dance in the rain. Put on your dancing shoes. Thank you so much for letting me be with you today. If there's anything I can do to be of service to you, please reach out. You've got all my information there with Don and Bill. Or Bill, yeah, Bill too, Don and Jim, and Bill and Preston and Sonia and Tamara, and you've got all my information. I love you. I know life is going to be great, as my mom would say, It'll all be all right in the end. And if it's not the end, or if it's not, boy, I'm not talking right. It'll all be all right in the end. If it's not all right, then it's not the end. Thanks so much. Mwah. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week and a phenomenal life. Back to you, Jim.
Thank you so very much. One thing I always love about you, Karen, is that you're always bubbly. You're always sunny side up. You're the person who walk outside and see a rose bush. The first thing you look at is the roses. And guys like me, I walk out and look at the thorns. And that's what I really love about your message. You're upbeat and all that. And you always look for the positive in everything, because bad things happen to good people. And it's just part of life. And the main thing is keep your sunny side up and look for the positive things. I love your message about getting in touch with people, staying in touch with people, writing them love letters, let them know that they're important to you and that sort of thing. And before we go, would you be kind enough to share your website and your email address so someone could say, Karen, tell me more?
Absolutely. But website, we're brand new. Thank you, Preston. It is drkarenperkins.com. So drkarenperkins.com. So drkarenperkins.com. And they can email me at Karen at dr hyphen, yeah, there's the hyphen, dr hyphen Perkins, Dr. hyphen Perkins, and Karen at dr hyphen Perkins.com. And I'm always thrilled to get emails, thrilled to help in any way I can. And you know, Jim, one fun thing is what Herm Albright said for those people who are like, but I don't want to be cheery all the time. He says, you know, positivity may not change your world and situation, and I'm saying the quote wrong. It may not change things, but it will annoy enough people to make it worth the while. So,
I like that. That's
right.
good.
Just
That
something
is so
fun.
good.
So be positive if you want to be or not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love you mentioning all of our executive training directors, as I showed at the beginning of the show, all the things that they do there. And Preston worked on your website there. And of course, you and I,
Sonia and Tamara, and yeah.
yeah, the whole family. And we're also great friends with Robert and Sean Jones out in Phoenix, Arizona with Network Together. They put over 1,000 stages a year, and now they're putting on virtual stages, and they just say come and dine, don't they? They're fantastic.
And can I tell you that Robert and Sean, it was the one event I went to where I met Eric at the Network Together events, and Steve from that same shop is a Network Together person. And I'll tell you what, I have not yet met any of the executives from Network Together that are any of the entrepreneurs that I have not just went, this is a person I want to work with. I'm so grateful to be part of that network. I really, really am.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Robert and Sean Jones at networktogether.net. If you want to see and visit their virtual stages, go to ntevents.net. They got a whole calendar there of events, and they're about community and promoting businesses and entrepreneurs. They also give back to the youth. So check them out. And Karen, thank you so much for being with us. I'm so glad that you were able to join us today, and hang around if you can. If you got to leave, we understand, but thank you again.
Tell them, I don't know if it's set up on the website so they can check there first, but if not, to drop me an email, and then I can give you the link too if you want to post it. But tell them to drop me an email, and I'll send them one of my daily affirmation audios that's positive daily affirmations. And through this time, that will help.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'll do that. Appreciate it. Thanks again. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah. Mwah.
Let me mute her mic there. I got to do some of this techie stuff here behind the scenes. And our next guest speaker will be Laura Early Goldstein. Let me cut her video on and unmute her and bring her to the center stage there. And let's see here. I'm going to make you the spotlight video. Hey, Laura, how you doing?
I am well, thank you. And thank you
Good.
for having me.
Thank you for being part of this wonderful program. It's people like you and Karen and Lucia that we hear from a little bit later today that make this all worthwhile. You're going to be talking to us today about using the quiet and stillness to discover your sense of purpose. So let me cut off my video and mute my mic, and the stage is yours.
Fantastic. Thank you. I want to talk today about finding purpose. It's also to finding meaning in the things that happen. It's no secret that we have been forced into change due to the coronavirus epidemic. And depending on your mindset, you might be wondering, why is this happening and what am I supposed to do now? Or you might be like, oh, there's positives. It just depends on where you're coming from. Positive thinking about it, maybe some negative, look at me, poor me thinking. And we're all in different places, and that's okay, because when we are forced into change, it's not a pleasant experience. We don't have that feeling and control. But I have found in my personal and professional experience that when we can find a sense of purpose and we can create meaning from whatever we are experiencing, no matter what that is, then it gives us that hope and maybe that nudge to actually move forward and do something productive with our circumstances. And the way that I learned this I kind of, it was falling upon this by accident. Back in my clinical therapy days when I was doing traditional psychotherapy, I was working with teens. I love the teenagers. And I loved working with the teenagers that had audio and visual hallucinations. Other therapists were often afraid of them because they're like, oh, they're seeing things, hearing things. Oh my gosh, schizophrenia. I don't know what to do with them. But what I found is that they were often creative, outside the box thinkers, and they just manifested their emotional struggles as hearing things and seeing things. And if you've ever sent a teenager to therapy, or you're a parent of a teenager, you'll get this. They would come to therapy, they'd be like all, pissed off because their mom's making them come, and they would, sit in the chair and they'd have their arms crossed and they'd put their hoodie on and I'm not going to talk to you. So out of a place of, oh my gosh, how can I get these kids to talk, because I don't want to sit here for 50 minutes in silence. I started using tools such as my crystals. I would bring my crystals to sessions, and I'd also bring either oracle or tarot cards. And I would just start throwing down tarot cards, and these kids would be like, oh my God, how do you know this stuff? What are you doing? Are you like a witch? And I'm like, well, I will be if you'll talk to me. So I started using my intuitive tools to communicate with teens. And what I realized is that they would listen to the guidance of the cards. I mean, and again, a card is just a tool. Cards aren't magic. They don't hold like knowledge. We hold the knowledge, but it's just reflective of the energy. So it would open the space for dialogue. So as I started working with these kids, and they loved the cards, so I would, pull more cards for them. We started talking about purpose and their gifts, because I realized that each one of them operated from a place of not really feeling confident and not really knowing who they are. So long story short, when I was able to teach them who they were at soul level, their purpose and gifts, what their strengths were, and what they could do to contribute to the world, all of a sudden their mental state shifted. They stopped hearing things, any kind of emotional stagnation was able to be released. And it really helped propel them in a direction of confidence. And oh my gosh, I have a sense of what I can do now. Yes, this is where I was, but I have this renewed sense of purpose in the world. And it was amazing the progress that these kids made when we started talking about purpose and creating meaning from what they were experiencing. What were the voices telling you, and what was the reason behind that? So I thought, there really is something to feeling that sense of purpose, because when you can find purpose and meaning in any situation, then it gives you strength to move forward and do something productive with it. And why I say that we can use this quiet now to find that sense of purpose is because that quiet is essential. We now are given the opportunity to create space and room for whatever it is that needs healing within. Right now we are not going anywhere on the weekends. We're not going on like vacations. You aren't schlepping kids to every single athletic event after school anymore. The family's home, the kids are home, and we're spending more time together. It's almost like we've gone back in the 70s. Every night's a family dinner night, and we eat together at 6:30. But the reality is we have more quiet. When you think about where we came from, it's a very busy world. You're so busy, caught up in work and home and friendships and just the nuances of daily life. But more importantly, we're often caught up in the shoulds, need tos, ought tos. Oh, we have to do this and we have to do that. And because we're so busy, we're kind of like that. I think of it as like a bull on a treadmill in a china shop. We're just, going, 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 going. And then if we stop, things tend to fall apart. So we just keep going, going, going more. And what happens is we stop really listening to ourselves, and we start listening to other people and what society says and what our bosses say and what our colleagues say. And then we end up in jobs that we either love or hate. Many people hate their work, relationships that don't serve them anymore. They end up putting food in their body that they know is not supporting their healthy sense of lifestyle, and saying yes when we really mean hell no. So when we are so busy and we're not stopping to listen to what is the bigger picture here, it's just this continued spiral of a lot of times unhealthy career, unhealthy relationships, unhealthy physical body, and it creates a lot of stress and tension, and then morphs into usually some kind of serious physical disease. And that is the extreme, but I know that you understand what I'm talking about when we are just on that path of being so busy that we don't really stop and take time to think, hey, where am I? What am I doing here? Am I really happy? What is bringing me joy? And gosh, what is not going well for me? And now is a great time to use the quiet that we have to return to yourself. Now, where does this purpose and sense of like creating meaning, where does that come from? It comes from you. It comes from your soul voice. We have two voices. We have like our monkey mind, our egoic voice up here, and it's, kind of loud and chatty, and it can be critical. But we also have a soul voice that is who we are. It's our essence. It's how we were created as a soulful being. It's perfect, exactly the way it is. And it has a whole bunch of wisdom to share with you, and it can answer all your questions. But you do need to take some time to stop and listen to it and really connect. So how do we do that? Because I will tell people, listen to your soul voice, connect to your soul voice. And like, but how do I do that? How do I get to that? And I'm going to walk you through a couple steps. Now, do you know I have some free videos off my website that will walk you through this in detail. So you can go get that. It's absolutely free. I'll tell you how to do that later. But just to kind of give you an overview, the first thing is to find that quiet. You find, I say meditation, but meditation can look different. Some people experience meditative qualities when they're gardening. It's finding a place where you can maybe shut off the chatter that's going on up here and just really being in tune with what's in here, your soul voice, your inner voice, whatever you want to call it, your intuition. So you can do an activity that is like routine and rote for you, so you're not thinking about it, just to kind of silence. You can do meditation where you're sitting in silence. You can also sit and focus on your breathing. If meditation is difficult for you, do some breathing exercises. Inhale, inhale maybe for a 4 count, hold it, and then exhale. And just focus on your breath, which allows you to quiet your mind. After you become comfortable spending some time in that quiet, the best way that I've been able to support people in connecting to themselves is to get a visual as to who they are at soul level. It can be a person, it can be an animal, it can be a thing, and I'll share mine is a dragon. So I've visualized, what is my soul embody? Like, what are the energies there? And I was like, confidence, fire, energy. And I'm like, well, what relates to that? What is that image? And a dragon came up for me. So I know it sounds a little silly and cheesy, but this does work, because now what I can do when I'm trying to sort out meaning from something, or to really find my, my purpose in this, then I get into my quiet space and I connect with that dragon within, and I have a conversation. And that dragon within is really me speaking, but it allows me to focus on something. Because otherwise, if we're just sitting there, then all of a sudden we're like, oh, don't forget to add raisins to the shopping list. And, our mind starts to wander. But if we have an image and we have a visual as to who we're talking to, then you can sit and ask your questions. So I will sit whenever I'm struggling or trying to understand something. I will spend time and just sit with my dragon, and I will just start asking questions. What is my purpose in all of this? What can I learn from this experience? What can I do in order to maybe grow or support my well-being? What do I need to release so that I can move forward? And the key is to ask your questions, but really listen, because the voice, that soul voice, that purposeful voice, is going to sound very different than the chatter that's on up here. It's not going to be loud. It's going to be quiet and matter of fact, and it gets drowned out. It gets drowned out by the noise from your headspace and also the noise from the world. So when you get a visual connect, start to ask your questions. Now, it may not come right away just because, it's new. It takes a little practice. It's fostering a habit, a lifestyle, and that's really what it is. Because the more that you practice connecting to this piece of you, then the quicker you can discern what is outside noise and what is your soul speaking to you. And let me tell you, it never leads you astray. Your soul is like your beacon, your North Star. It will not lead you astray. It is the divinity within you, and it will tell you exactly what you need to hear and when you need to hear it. So it's not like the false information we sometimes get up here in our head, because up here in our head space we might have the little like angel and devil, and the angel's like, oh, you're so awesome, and the devil is like, oh, you suck, you failed at that. So we want to always go with what our soul is saying to us. We want to listen to that voice. And then we can find our purpose. Now, purpose is never a specific job. I just want to clarify that before my time is up here. When we talk about purpose, it's not like, oh, my purpose in the world is to be a doctor. That's not what we're talking about here. Your purpose is an energy. It's a way of being. And that way of being is true to you. And when you share your way of being with the world, other people gain from that. Okay, so we're not talking about a job. We're talking about, what do you have to share with the world, so that you can motivate, inspire, teach, produce whatever it is that you do best. Okay, so like I said, you can get videos at the bottom of my website to really go into I take you into understanding more about the headspace. I take you more into the soul voice, how to connect with that. And I go in and really define purpose and what that means. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to be on here. My time is just about up. I really appreciate it. And my website is soul, SOUL, wisdom, lore, LORE.com. So go get your videos and start connecting. All right, back to you, Jim.
I really love your message there, because so many people in their hour of need, they look at from the negative side of what do I need? How can I do this? How can I do that? And you flip it right out to how can you use your talents, your gifts, your abilities to be a blessing to others? And that's when you really start to enjoy life. And you see other people out there, and we can always look at someone that their situation is much worse than ours. And like I tell people that we may be under house arrest voluntarily, but we don't have to be in solitary confinement. And that is a wonderful thing about Zoom. We can reach out. You can do it with your family, your friends, have a Zoom call, have a lunch with them, everybody get together and have a lunch, everybody bring their food and everything. But it's so wonderful, the message that you gave. I really connected with it. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to ask you one more time again, please, would you be so kind to share your website and your email address, please?
Sure. My website is Soul Wisdom Lore, SOUL, Wisdom, WISDOM, Lore, LORE.com. And then my email address is lore, LORE, at soulwisdomlore.com. I have a contact form on my website. So if you're like, oh, I can't remember all the emails, just go to the website. You can get the free videos down at the bottom of the front page. And then there's also a contact me if you want to reach out for more information.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for not only just being here and sharing your information, but thank you for also providing free videos and information that can help people in their hour of need. Thank you again. We appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, before I bring on our next speaker there, I got to do some work here and push all these buttons. I really appreciate what Ben does for us there at the radio station. Don and I, we have a show every Friday. Your Future is Now on TogiNet. But if I may, real quickly, since we're sharing information, I'd like to share again real quickly a little bit about Speakers Pathway Coalition, because we're sponsored by speakerspathway.com. This is our website. You can see here we have TEDx training. Don will send you his 5-step kick butt TED Talk. We have complimentary gifts from all of our executive training directors. We have 6. In addition to that, this is where you'll see the messages of hope, messages of inspiration, hope, and support. If you click on those, we've got all the individuals listed there. You can click on their individual picture and get their recording, as well as a little bit of information about them. Don also offers, get your complimentary course now, how to grow your business through speaking. And this is some of the things that we offer some of our members. This is this is us here, the 6 executive training directors and myself and Don. And we just, we're all about paying it forward. So if you know someone that can benefit from the value that we're providing from all of these great, encouraging, and positive speakers, please share their message with them. If there's anything that we have at Speakers Pathway Coalition, we give away thousands of dollars there in training and things of this nature. If it can benefit you or someone else, please come and dine. And we got a young lady with us today, and thank you so much for correcting my mispronunciation of your name, Leisha. We're so glad that you're here. And would you be kind enough to cut your, there she is. How are you today? Let me put you
I'm
into the
so
spot.
well. How about you?
I'm doing real good. I'm doing real good. Like I tell people, if you need someone to mispronounce a name, just let me know. I'm your guy.
Oh no, you're off the hook, Jim.
Good.
My name is hard to pronounce. Everybody does that, so you're good.
I apologize. But your
No worries.
message today is the intersection, or the crossroads, as I like to call it, about your purpose and leadership. Am I correct on that?
Absolutely correct. Yes,
Good.
I'm so
Well,
excited to share.
Let me cut off my video and mute my mic, and the stage is yours.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Jim. All that behind the scenes work. Yay, Jim. So hi, everybody. I'm Leisha Berry, pronounced Leisha. And I'm a mentor and facilitator of successful women and men business leaders and movement leaders. And I'm talking today about the intersection of purpose and leadership, because my evolution in my own experience and in my professional experience as well is that I had to get clear about my purpose before I was actually any kind of a good leader. And so I find it fascinating, and somebody was definitely planning well today for Lore to have preceded my my presentation today. So thank you, Lore, beautiful job. And I'm so excited to be able to share my model with you, because at a time like this, when humanity is definitely in a period of, universe has our attention, right? we are being held very, very much by our heart chakras, by our passion and our love and our desire to be alive. We're being held very much by that, right here in our hearts. And it's an opportunity, not only to have clarity about our purpose, but also to step into being a good leader. And what I'm noticing is that a lot of us are falling into fear and letting that be our guide instead of our true North Star, which is our sacred instructions, if you will. I have to tell you a little bit about myself in order for what I'm getting ready to share with you to make sense. One of the things that I'm going to share with you is that I have been very connected to nature all of my life and have observed nature very acutely, including being an organic gardener. And having a mini farm, that supplied health food stores. And also, my ancestry on my father's side is indigenous, the Hatteras Indians, the North Carolina Algonquin tribes. And so I have this understanding of how things work in nature and how things work on Earth. That is a beautiful supplement to my professional training. I'm classically trained as an educator with a degree in education, and I have a lot of background in neurosciences and psychology. And so pairing all of that left brain, amazing, wonderful, supportive training with this understanding that's a very lived and internal understanding of how things grow and about how a person is the most balanced, the most holistic, the most in structural integrity in their life, really factors into this conversation about how to be a good leader. And from a Native understanding, First Nations perspective is that we know everyone has a purpose. Everyone has a role to play. Everyone has something important that they are here to do, to give to their people, to serve and to offer and to bring. That we are all an expression of creator, and you can fill in the word that works for you. When I say creator, it could, whatever your higher power is, whatever your word is, that we have a job. We came in with one. And like Laura said, it's not a job as in, okay, I'm going to be an accountant, and that's my purpose. It's more like I have this gift. Perhaps I'm very detail oriented, and perhaps I like the language of numbers, and perhaps accounting would be a very good expression of that. But there are other ways to express having detail orientation and liking the language of numbers. There are many ways our purpose can express, but the main thrust of our purpose should be quite evident. And in successful business leaders and movement leaders that I support and work with as my clients and then my students, they have gotten to that place of understanding their purpose. And then what comes next is, how am I going to express that? How am I actually going to bring that purpose into the world and show up as the leader? And it's interesting to me how many people struggle with the word leader, especially women. And the bulk of my clientele are women. Women seem to have a little, ooh, I'm not a leader. That makes me nervous. I don't know. I don't lead anybody. You do, actually. If you have children, if you are a volunteer in the school system, if you are someone active in your community, if you are someone who influences someone in any way, whether in a leader of a business, leader of a nonprofit, leader of a group, leader of a movement, you are a leader. If you influence anyone, you are a leader. And where do we begin? By being the best possible leader. Right here. We lead ourselves. And so leading ourselves, the inner leadership work, is really required for us to be an excellent leader in the outer world. We have to attend to the structural integrity on the inside in order to express that very important, very needed purpose on the outside world. And so my work is in the intersection of leadership and purpose, and we tend to leadership on the interior world. I'm called the guide to the frontier inside. That's my moniker. And it really is about what's inside of you. Where are you in your structural integrity? Are you sound in your structural integrity, or are there gaps? Are there places that there are holes? Are there places where there's misunderstandings, or are there places where things are turned sideways when they should be flowing? And so I'm going to draw a picture for you to kind of give your right brain a picture to work with as you're hearing my words. We use a whole brain approach here with my work, and let you see my model so that you can begin to understand how very important it is to tend to that inner leadership work in order to really fully express that exquisite, excellent leader that you can be. So let's begin with, what's your North Star? What's your North Star? Now, when I say North Star, I think of Creator. My North Star, where I'm pointing and listening and being guided, it's about, what does Creator seek from me? What am I here to do to be of service? That can be, again, fill in the blank with your name of your higher power. That is your North Star. Now, some people may have a different North Star. Some people may be very interested in some other places that they are being guided by, and that may not be their higher power. Some people are very much guided by power. Some people are very much guided by money. Some people are very much guided by unhealthy habits. Their North Star is somewhere else. My North Star is up. My North Star is Creator. So ask yourself that question. What is your North Star? What's guiding you? What is it that you can always look at and immediately know where you are? Immediately have the guidance. Immediately know, okay, this is my orientation right now. I know exactly where I am on the map of my life. So determine your North Star. And so we're going to make a picture of North Star. I'm going to just make a star here, and I'm going to say North Star, and hopefully you can see that. All right, and again, call it the name that you like. So once we have North Star, then we know, okay, I know where I'm being guided from, and I choose to align in that. I choose to listen to that. I choose to create relationship with that. It's not just there vaguely, abstractly, in my life. It's actually something I seek data from. I seek relationship. I seek answers to my questions. I seek guidance. Where can I show up today? What's my next step today? These are questions that are answered when you follow this model and follow my training. You get these answers very clearly and very specifically. And we can test for accuracy as well. So once you have your North Star, then what? Well, it's lovely, to sit on our meditation cushions and contemplate our higher power and have relations with higher power, but we're meant to then do something. Once we are aware of where the guidance is coming from, once we are bringing the guidance through, that information is sacred instruction. This is what we say, sacred instruction. That means you're given something from a very holy place, a very high place, and it's meant to be then done, acted on, not just to sit there and enjoy it, but to do something about it. So we get off the meditation cushion and then we do something. And where do we do it? Here, on this planet, here on Earth. And so here, we'll just pretend this is our beloved, oh, you may not be able to see. Let me see if I can make that a little darker. This is our beloved Earth and the core of the planet inside of the Earth. the beautiful blue-green ball that we all live on. It's our mother. And so what's the connection between your North Star and the Earth? What is the conduit that that data is passing through to get from here to being acted on here on the Earth, where it's actually then expressed, that purpose is expressed? Well, you are, of course you are. You're the conduit. And if you're in alignment with your North Star and you are grounded into the core of this planet, then you are a true conduit. And this is what happens. There is this direct connection between the above and below, the marriage of heaven and earth, the marriage of our spirit and our soul and our body. And this is the sweet spot where we get to play and do the very thing that we are here to do. Hooray! And boy, does it feel good. It feels so good to be on track and to actually show up and express. And so this right here, this line has been a guiding force for me, because in my study of the brain and the midline of the body, I worked with children with brain disorders for several years, and understood also by studying nature that everything is oriented around the midline. The middle of the brain, the corpus callosum, is the place between the hemispheres that is the conduit for the data to go back and forth between the hemispheres so that we have a more whole brain approach. The midline of our body is the organizing influence for our balance when we're little babies and we're learning to sit up, when we're learning to crawl, when we're learning to walk. All of it is oriented around the midline. Nature, if you watch anything grow in nature, it grows from the inside out. It doesn't grow on the left side and not on the right side. Nope, it grows from the inside out. And so midline is very important to manage. And so this is called managing the midline. This is my model of managing the midline, because if we are strong in the center and we are aligned, we are grounded, and we are also doing the things that we need to do to receive the information and then to express it out, to receive it and express it, then we are in that sweet spot that becomes the medicine wheel. The medicine wheel is exactly a crossroads, just like Jim said, the medicine wheel. And the medicine wheel is very sacred and holy to Native people because it's a model for everything. It's a model for every kind of organic structure that exists in this universe. Always there's a midline, and always there's a vertical and horizontal axis. And so what happens when we are aligned, we are grounded, and then we are marrying that receiving side with the expressing side, the yin side and the yang side, the feminine and the masculine, then we become, boom, effective right there in that medicine wheel, in the crosshairs. Then the magic happens and the heart takes off. Our heart field, which all of us, again, are getting exercised a lot with right now with this virus, our heart chakras are being really tuned in, and we are being given an opportunity here to get super clear. And if we are able to remain in alignment and ground, we are in structural integrity because the midline is strong. If we're not in structural integrity, our leadership can start to look like this. We can start to create chaos and swing in our life. And in that chaos and swing, in those gaps that get created, stuff can get in there that actually is not really useful. In fact, it can be a distraction. It can be a sabotage. It can be something that stops us in our tracks. And perhaps we have something very important, something very dear to us. Maybe you have created something. Maybe you have a business right now. Or maybe you have a body of work. And your expression of that body of work is dependent on you being in structural integrity, managing your midline. So please feel free to reach out to me at LishaBerry.com. My email is Lisha@LishaBerry.com. I have lots of free stuff in here. Even on the Speakers Pathway site, you'll find that I have some free gifts for you too. I do speak. I have several books out, and I do work with clients, successful women, and the occasional awesome man leaders who are ready to really hone in there and take their work to a whole nother level. Looking forward to hearing from you all. Thank you so much for having me, Jim. I see that I think my time is just about up, but I'm super, super grateful for the opportunity and hope that this my model of managing the midline is useful to you as leaders. Lots of love.
Wow, thank you so very much. I really enjoyed your message there, and we got some background noise there. I apologize for that. But anyway, your message is just right on spot because I love it. And in fact, all you ladies, Alicia, Laura, and Karen, you talk about, leading from the heart and coming from the heart. And Bill Heinrich, one of our executive training directors, he was telling me, Jim, you need to come from the heart, not your brain. I said, I can use that one. Yeah, but I wanted to also, would you be kind enough to raise up and show your bracelet there, the turquoise? I really appreciate that. It's very beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I lived in Arizona for 20 years, and I'm very familiar with Bisbee blue turquoise and all the beautiful turquoise. And
These are from the Dene people in Arizona, northern Arizona. Yeah.
Okay. Is that still called a squash necklace?
A squash blossom. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. Yeah. But would you again please give us your website and your email address so people can get in touch with you and get in touch with their North Star?
Absolutely. My email is Lisha@LishaBerry.com, and the website is LishaBerry.com, and spelled Licia. Lisha.
Okay. Thank you so very much. And I just want to say thanks again to Laura and Karen for being with us. You ladies made this a wonderful show. I was honored to be your host today. I hope you have a wonderful day. And ladies and gentlemen, please get in touch with Lisha, Laura, and Karen. And most importantly, remember speakerspathway.com because we're all about paying it forward, helping you in your hour of need. I'm Jim Grant. Have a wonderful day. And thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.